It's January 25th, JLD here, and welcome to MSTR Today in the Treasury Titans. Nothing in this video is financial advice, but happy Sunday to everybody. I hope you're enjoying your weekend. Hope it was great. And of course, Michael Saylor wants us to make it a little bit better with a post that says, Unstoppable Orange. Michael Saylor is unstoppable. Strategy is unstoppable. Bitcoin is inevitable. If you don't get it, get off this train. If you do, get ready for quite a ride. Now, what does Mark say? Well, Mark says MSTR is still buying. He's expecting a 12,000 Bitcoin announcement. Wow, that's big. Let's see what Strategy Maxi says. 8,000 plus Bitcoin. You will all understand MSTR Common Stock ATM is unstoppable. We will keep collecting sellers and miner supply until you stop selling. Road to 1 million Bitcoin continues. I'm going to go on record and say, listen, Stretch was quite quiet this week. It was maybe a couple hundred Bitcoin came from Stretch. I'm going to go with 7,144 Bitcoin. That's my guess. I'm sticking to it. I hope to be very wrong with a much bigger buy. That'd be awesome. But, price action was pretty crappy this past week. And Michael Saylor doesn't typically hammer the ATM during kind of crabby price action. He likes to kind of hammer it when it's rolling up strong. So we'll see what happens. I'm going to say 7,144. Strategy Maxi says over 8,000. Mark says over 12,000. Only time will tell. The Bitcoin Archive says Bitcoin ETFs sold 1.33 billion in Bitcoin last week, the largest weekly outflow since Feb of 2025. Bottom signal, question mark. That's a big outflow for obvious reasons. So, I'll kind of blow that up here. So at the end of the day, not fantastic to see this kind of an outflow, but we're here to report the good, the bad, and the ugly. Rob says a noticeable trend in Saylor's commentary and engagement is managing expectations about the time for MSTR thesis to play out and emphasizing the need for a low time preference. And this is when Michael Saylor posted yesterday, how long are you willing to wait to get rich? Well, here is my result, which I put 10 years. And it's good to see that 46% of people said 10 years as well. So at least the people that follow Michael Saylor and engage with him, which is almost 70,000 people, also by far had at least a 10-year horizon. I mean, if you combine the 10 and the 7, it's well over 50%. The majority of people have at least a 7-year, but more like a 10-year, while 21% are at 1 year. And, those are probably people that are, purchasing covered calls and blah, 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 and maybe doing some leaps. So where are you at? Michael Saylor wants you to know it takes time. Chris says, as an investor, you have to be willing to look wrong for extended periods in the short term so you can look right in the long term. And I am willing to look wrong for extended periods. I mean, I took a beating over this summer. Anybody who covers MSTR, who talks about MSTR, who is bullish MSTR, we all took absolute beatings over this past year. And that's going to happen when the stock is down 60, 70% over the course of the year. Of course, everybody was, giving us raving flowers, during the run up. But at the end of the day, and Michael Saylor has been saying this more recently in his interviews and presentations, that's all market sentiment. Market sentiment is going to be overly euphoric at times and overly pessimistic at other times. They're either going to be way too bullish or way too bearish. There's typically nothing in the middle there. But at the end of the day, the strategy train keeps moving. Michael Saylor keeps stacking. The Bitcoin treasury keeps increasing. And when this pendulum does swing back the other way, I will be on that ride. James says, well, let me first say what Lynn Alden says. 78% chance that we have a government shutdown next week. So that was trending towards 0. All of a sudden, it shot way up. So some people heard something, obviously not great news. James says, if it happens, back to 80K, liquidity disappears. Now, of course, that's just one man's opinion. Sometimes the market does the exact opposite of what people expect, including what James expects. But who knows? He might be right. He might be wrong. But at the end of the day, a government shutdown's likely, very likely not going to be good for all assets, especially Bitcoin, which is a liquidity driving asset. So let's move on over to a post by Adam, which is MSTR price projection starting at 1 million Bitcoin. The toughest part of doing any price modeling on Bitcoin treasury companies is the Bitcoin yield because the MNAV isn't static and the multiple influences the cost of capital, level dilution, etc. But it seems to me that it's very possible strategy reaches 1 million Bitcoin this year. And the returns from here on out are wild, especially if the bid on Bitcoin raises the price to 150,000 and the quest for 1 million Bitcoin. With the size and scale of strategy, the bid on Bitcoin will continue to increase. It really seems like there's a decent chance the 1x MNAV price a year from now is 3x what the price is today. Important to know these are just prices projected if strategy stops buying Bitcoin after they reach 1 million, which of course they never will. So even these price projections are sandbagging a little bit. Knowing this, it really seems to me that a move to 1,000 within 2 years seems more likely than not, provided the bid on Bitcoin persisting. And here we go. Year one, this is one MNAV. It's between 450 to 1,000. Year two, between 600 and 1,200 or 1,250. Year three, 800 to 1,700. And you can obviously go ahead and just read these. I'll skip down to year 10, between 8,000 and almost 16,000. So 16. Just imagine if things go well after 10 years, multiply your share count by 16,000. And that's, if, of course, the MNAV gets up to 2x at some point, which Michael Saylor thinks it will. I think it will. We'll see if it does, because the market sentiment will have to bring it there. But those are pretty exciting numbers. And you can see right here, this is the blue is 1, orange is 1.5, and green is 2, what that looks like over time. And things get pretty fun and pretty darn exciting. So I have a great video clip from Michael Saylor, sorry, not Michael Saylor, but CZ and Tom Lee coming up. So you're not going to want to miss those. They both share some pretty interesting things, and they both come from the last day or two. As soon as we get back from thanking our sponsors. Michael Saylor just made an $835 million bet buying the Bitcoin dip. Right now, Bitcoin's fallen almost 40% off its October high, and the big money is buying the dip. What's your strategy? Now might be a great time to convert your IRA or 401k to Bitcoin with the help of Bit IRA. Plus, you can fund it with pre-tax funds, then continue to invest in it over time as you do any other retirement accounts. Bit IRA protects your assets with end-to-end insurance, highly secure storage, multi-encryption, and registered with the U.S. government. Your IRA is fully IRS compliant. Best of all, you can trade crypto within your retirement account without incurring taxes on any buys or sells. Just go to bitira.com/JLD and request a free info guide. Once you do that and open your IRA, you'll get a free ledger. Bitcoin has proven time and time again to rebound, every cycle going from a higher low to a higher high. With Strategy's latest purchase, Michael Saylor clearly believes Bitcoin is at a discount. Time for you to get into. Go to bitira.com/JLD to open a tax-sheltered IRA in Bitcoin. When you want more for your business, start with Northwest Registered Agent and get access to thousands of free guides, tools, and legal forms to help you launch and protect your business all in one place. Build your complete business identity with Northwest today. Your business identity is more than your logo or website. It's everything that defines who you are and how you operate, from what your customers see to what they don't, like operating agreements, meeting minutes, and compliance paperwork. With Northwest, you'll get more for your business, more privacy, more guidance, and more free resources than you'll find anywhere else. For nearly 30 years, Northwest Registered Agent has helped entrepreneurs form, grow, and protect their businesses. They're the largest registered agent and LLC service in America, powered by over 1,500 corporate guides, real people who know the local laws and can help you every step of the way. Don't wait. Protect your privacy, build your brand, and get your complete business identity in just 10 clicks and 10 minutes. Visit www.northwestregisteredagent.com/JLD free and start building something amazing. Get more with Northwest Registered Agent at www.northwestregisteredagent.com/JLD free.
Do you trade a lot of crypto these days?
No, I don't trade
at all.
I don't trade. I hold Bitcoins. I hold BNB.
Okay.
I don't do day trading. I don't buy and sell. I don't try to time the market. I'm just not good at that. Years ago, like 10, 20 years ago, I tried that, lost money, just figured I'm a developer. I build systems. I don't trade.
So do you have any thought, though, real quick, on just like the price of Bitcoin and where this is all headed? Do you think we're in a winter, a summer cycle? Are you with Kathy Wood, who thinks it's going to turn into $1 million a coin?
So whenever people ask that question, I always got to ask them, well, what's the time frame you're looking at? If you're looking at today, tomorrow, or a daily basis, there's no way I can predict. If you look at a 5-10-year horizon, it's very easy to predict. We're going to go up. If you look at a 1-year horizon, which is like what the most sort of common right. Framework is, 2026, I'm not sure. You may be. I think I have very strong feelings that it will probably be a super cycle.
Be a super cycle.
2026, yeah.
For Bitcoin.
For Bitcoin.
And what super cycle to you means what?
Well, normally Bitcoin follows 4-year cycles historically. If you look at historic data, like every 4 years, there's a all-time high and then there's a drop. But I think this year, given the U.S. being so pro crypto and every other country is kind of following, I do think we will see this. We will probably break the 4-year right. cycle.
We know that deleveraging event is behind us.
And your price target for Bitcoin this year is 250,000.
Yeah, so we think Bitcoin will make a new high this year.
And that's driven by what?
Well, it's driven by, I think, the usefulness of crypto increasing. So we know banks, for instance, are recognizing blockchain, and the idea of settlement and finality work really well on blockchain. And then a company like Tether, which is a crypto-based bank, is proving that a bank that emerges natively on blockchain is actually better than a traditional bank. For instance, Tether is expected to make almost $20 billion in 2026 earnings. That would make it a top 5 in terms of bank profits. They, on valuation, might be number 2 only to JP Morgan, twice the valuation of Goldman Sachs or Morgan Stanley. Tether only has 300 full-time employees. JP Morgan has 300,000. So by using blockchain, they make almost as much, well, they make more money than any bank, and they only have less than 1% of the M1 money supply and a tiny balance sheet, and yet it's one of the most profitable banks in the world.
What's the second best? There is no second best.